Hi everyone! This is another exciting tutorial on how to use Hoopla Digital. This tutorial is hoping to cover how to use the Hoopla Digital app for iOS devices. So those are iPads and iPhones. This will not cover how to use the app on Android devices, although they're incredibly similar. So you can use this as sort of a basis for that. I'm hoping down the road to do a tutorial on Android. However, I don't have access to an Android device in the moment, so we're going to hold off on that. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to need to download the Hoopla app onto your iPhone or your iPad. So you're going to need to find the App Store. I have it right here on my homepage here. However, if you can't find it, you can put your finger on the screen and swipe down, and that will bring up this page right here, and you can type APP, and it will bring up the App Store right there. So there's that little A. You can tap that. And then we're going to need to search for Hoopla Digital. So Hoopla space digital. And then you can click search. Now Hoopla Digital should be probably the second hit that you get. I have a little open button there. That's because I've already downloaded Hoopla Digital. If you don't, it will say get, like the right next to Libby there underneath Hoopla. It'll say get like that. You can tap the get button next to Hoopla Digital and it will download. In my case, I'm going to hit the open button. So now it's going to ask you to place your username and password into the fields here. If you haven't registered for a Hoopla Digital account, I strongly recommend that you watch the tech tutoring tutorial that I did last week on using Hoopla Digital on your laptop or on a computer. That will show you how to register. The steps are essentially the same for a tablet, an iPhone, an iPad, and your computer, and how to set up and create that account. If you have any questions with that, you can reach out to either Gene or I, and we'd be more than happy to help you, and I'll put the emails at the end of this presentation. So I'm going to type in my email, which is also your username in Hoopla. And so it's cfisher@burnhamlibrary.org. And then in the password field, I'm going to type in bogus password that I created, Burnham Library. I'm going to hit login. So you'll probably get a notification that says, would you like to save your password to your keychain? That's completely up to you. I'm going to hit not now. The page that pops up first is your landing page. This is going to show items that you've borrowed previously. You can also look at favorites, which is directly under kids. You'll see borrowed and then favorites. So those are two tabs you can click on to see things that you marked as your favorites and things that you like. So the borrowed and the favorites, it's helpful because you can see what you've previously borrowed, you can see what you currently have, so you can continue reading or listening or watching whatever you're watching, reading, or listening to right now. So then, down at the bottom, you can look for, you can browse for items, or you can search. So let's start by browsing. Let's click on the Books tab. It's right next to search. So you'll see a number of books here that these are marked popular in that popular tab. Hoopla is great because it's going to learn what you like, so it's going to start recommending things for you. So I'm sure if I touch the recommended, it's going to show a bunch of comic books and children's books because that's what I've been taking out recently. And it'll also start featuring items, and these are items that they have special deals with publishers, or they have themes that they're trying to fill in. So that's what this basic browsing section is. Up at the top, you'll notice that right now we're only looking at audiobooks. You can toggle between audiobooks, comic books, and ebooks. So say you just wanted to look at ebooks, you can touch that, and it'll be the same page. It has the popular, recommended, and featured items. So these are popular items. We see Pete the Cat's Big Easter Adventure, which looks super awesome. We can look at recommended for me for ebooks. Not quite sure why I'm getting all these Laura Ingalls Wilder books, but you know, we can look at featured. And these are books that, again, Hoopla Digital is choosing to feature for a variety of reasons. Some other options that you have in all three of these settings, in audiobooks, comics, and ebooks, is you can sort by genre. So that's up at the top underneath the battery percentage for your iPad, above sort. If you tap that, it's going to give you a whole bunch of genres that you can search through. Something I want to point out are these bonus borrows. So right now, because of the global coronavirus pandemic, Hoopla Digital is giving out these bonus borrows which don't take up any of your credits, which are great. So let's check out bonus borrows, adult fiction. So we see all of these great books. Oh, Ducks Newburyport. Okay, so we are now, let's check something out. So we're going to look at Ducks Newburyport. I'm going to tap on that. And then this gives you a basic idea about the book. It also gives you some reviews. Now say that you didn't want to check this out right now, but you wanted to remember that you wanted to check it out in the future. So say you were building a list of items so that you didn't use up all of your checkouts at once, or you wanted to recommend something. You could tap this little heart here on the left-hand side of borrow, and that will add it to your favorites. And now on our landing page, there was the previously borrowed and the borrowed items, as well as the favorites, and now Ducks of Newburyport will come up, and I'll show you that once we're done. So say we wanted to check Ducks Newburyport out. You can tap borrow, and it's going to tell you that it's available for 21 days, and you can click on borrow. It tells you it's borrowing the title, and then it downloads it. So that way you're not streaming it and using up any data that you might have on, say, an iPhone or even an iPad. So then once you've checked it out, you can start reading it. So you can click that, read button right there. So you can swipe through this just like you would a book. You can play with it. You're not gonna hurt anything. And Hoopla will always, it'll always open you up when you reopen an item after leaving it to the farthest page that you've gotten into, the most recent farthest page that you've read. So once you're done, you can, Hoopla just crashed. We're going to reopen it by tapping the Hoopla button down here. And Hoopla appears to be having some issues. So I'm just going to reopen it. So because of the extensive amount of borrows and hits that Hoopla is getting right now, you may find it maybe freezing every once in a while. It hasn't seemed to happen a lot with us. But like that just happened. If that happens, you can just close the app out and reopen it. You haven't lost anything. So this brought me directly back to the borrowed page. So I'm going to click on Ducks Newburyport on that little play button right there. And then you can swipe through. And then when you're done, you can simply tap. And you can place it up at the top. You can leave Hoopla by pressing that little X right there. Or pardon me, just leave the book. You could bookmark this page. You could look at the chapters. You could also increase the font size and the coloring. So I generally prefer to read in larger font. And I like, say, sepia, and it changes the page to sepia. You can also adjust fonts and things like that. You could also search for words if you wanted to. Say you wanted to look for a quote. Okay, so we're going to get out of this book. I'm going to press the little X right there, and that brings us back to our borrowed page. So again, what we did is we went down to the bottom of the page. There's a toolbar there. I tapped on books. And then we did a genre search up at the top. And I chose bonus borrows because they're free. But you could also search in biography or in children's books. And this is just for browsing. If you don't know what you want, but you just have an idea of the topic that you like or the subject, and just make sure that you're also searching up at the top here. There's audiobooks, comics, and ebooks. So make sure you're browsing in the proper field. Otherwise, you might end up finding audiobooks that you want when you want the ebook. So we can also go and we can search. So at the bottom bar, you can press search. And up at the top, I am going to search for, let's do Moana. And I'm just going to hit search. Now, I know that I am looking for an ebook on Moana. Unfortunately, there are a number of things that came up. There's music, there are movies. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the filter option up underneath that little magnifying glass right there. We're going to tap that. And we are going to filter by ebooks. And now we're all done. And it brings up only ebooks. So that's important to use if you're searching, because you never know what you're going to find, especially with popular titles or common words. You might end up with a variety of formats when you only want one of them. So as I said, Hoopla Digital also has videos, they have music. So down at the bottom, you can click on the video tab. And this looks just like the ebook tab. So you can browse through that. Oh, Dragons Love Tacos. Highly recommend that for your kiddos. You can also look at television. Just keep in mind with television that each episode uses one of your checkouts, unless it's a bonus borrow. So television, you can also look at music. Again, same setup, popular, recommended, featured. You can search by genre. So say I was looking for, let's see, what does Chris want to look for? Ooh, music from the 80s. Let's do that. And then it sorts out all of this genre. And It allows you to see what is available. So I just wanted to show you one more thing. So let's, we'll grab 1999 by Prince. So I tapped on that. And then I'm going to borrow it, just like the book. So the important thing when it comes to audiobooks and music is that you download it to your device. So beneath the stars, it says download to your device. And if you don't do that, it's going to stream using your data, or you won't be able to use it if you're on an iPad without data. So just remember to do that. I'm also going to hit favorite on this one. And now we're going to hit the back button. I'm going to hit the back button. And we're going to hit on the My Hoopla button down at the bottom that has the little house. And now you'll notice underneath Kids, if you click on Favorites, we have two items in there. We have Ducks Newburyport, and we have 1999. So again, this is just to, if you're building lists or you don't want to check something out, you just want to remember it. So that is that. Now, you don't need to worry about logging out of Hoopla Digital or returning anything or anything like that, but I will tell you that you can only have it signed in on one device. So if you have an iPad and an iPhone, you're going to need to learn to log out. So how you're going to do that is up in the upper right hand corner, there's a little sprocket. You can click on that. And then down at the bottom in big blue bold box, you can click on log out. And it'll bring you back to that page and you'll be good to go. So this is a tutorial, or has been a tutorial, on how to use Hoopla Digital on your iOS device. If you have any questions, you can email me or Jean personally, and our email addresses will pop up at the end of this video. If you need anything else, also feel free to reach out. We hope you're staying safe and healthy. Thank you very much.